It's time for the Steve and Kyle podcast with Steve.
It might pop back into your brain as well. Like, I need to do that now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to be, dead when I'm 45.
Yeah. So I'm in my final year.
Jesus, maybe I should have changed the digit.
Well, I mean, I guess I could live. I could live to 45 and 364 days.
Sure.
So I have nearly 2 years left.
And obviously, as we talked about, this is a hypothetical because you're in your mid 30s.
Yeah.
And Kyle.
It's not like the itch wasn't there either. You're an adult.
Yeah.
You're a married father of two. To say you have obligations is fair.
I got enough going on, and when I don't have anything going on, sometimes I just want to relax.
And I think you'd agree. You thought this thing would be done 2 years ago too, right?
In my dreams, it was going to be like a 6-month project.
Live on tape from APS 3 point whatever, it's the Steve and Kyle podcast.
All right. Here we are.
Another week where I'm looking at an overcrowded list of things that have just been pent up.
We can get right to it.
But I feel like we would not be doing due diligence if I skip past, and please, I'm begging you, please, dear God, keep it brief. If you could update the masses on why I didn't receive the Eagle is landing text this week, presuming that the Jeep would be now in 4x4 mode, and I'm assuming there's a ceremonial switch for that, right?
Yeah.
Because it didn't happen.
Yeah, I haven't gotten the really large ribbon or the really large scissors that I ordered from Amazon yet.
And
they're holding me up.
And that's
of course, I could be driving all over the place.
It's a real bummer when, the speed of commerce is what's holding up this, as you heard in the intro, 6-month project.
Turned into a 5-year project.
But I got to tell you, your family's got to be over the moon for that groundbreaking ceremony that you're buying the scissors and the ribbon for.
Oh, yeah, they can't wait. They can't wait. I'll also use the scissors to cut down the trees that are starting to grow.
I was going to say, check out our social media. That'll have been posted late last week.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this now, and trust me, things are out of whack when I'm talking because we're recording again on a weird night. But I can only assume a little bit of rain, a little bit of heat. I'm only assuming you've got a couple handful of now 3 to 5 foot oaks out there growing in front of the only access to your garage.
Yes. Yeah, they're large enough where they each have little birdhouses in them. You nearly got the text.
Nearly?
Nearly, yeah. Everything is completely put back together and assembled. My parts pile is gone.
So the Jeep is a functional...
Hold up right there. All of the parts have been put back on. And, I don't know if you know this. But
I can guarantee you I don't.
But when you don't start a vehicle for 6-7 months, the battery drains.
Okay.
So the battery is hooked up to a battery charger / battery tender right now. So I'm hoping by the time I go outside later on tonight or tomorrow, whenever it is, I'm hoping that we'll have spark, we'll have fire. So you may get the text. You may get home from recording these podcasts
and
have to just turn around and stand outside because I'm. In fact, when you leave today,
that's right where you're going.
You just check in your rearview mirror, and if you see a cloud of smoke coming up fast, that could be me in the Manchi.
I'll wait in the driveway for like an extra 90 seconds.
Yeah,
partially for that, but also partially to make sure that somehow the warehouse hasn't been engulfed in flames.
Yeah,
because I don't know what's going on with that Comanche. I've smelled
either.
my physical body smelled like gasoline after one of the 2 times I've ridden in it. So I just don't know if the hand-built garage by you would survive a disastrous fire.
Funny update, by the way, on the on that maiden voyage that I took when you came back to your house stinking like smoke. That was because the Comanche had a pretty big oil leak. And the spot where it was leaking, it was dripping right down onto the hot exhaust pipe. So it was dripping on there and like immediately burning. And that's what was causing that burning sensation, that burning smell. So when I was working on it, as I've been working on it over these last couple of months, I had to take the exhaust out of it to get the transmission out.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday I finally I was like, I'm in the home stretch, so I'm bolting the exhaust back up. And I picked it up. It had been leaning in the corner of the shop for the last 6 months, probably. So I pick it up and I'm like, ugh. It's got probably a 1/4 inch thick of just burnt gristle on it, which is just the remnants of all of the old oil that had just dripped down on there, burned, crustified. It was like when you don't clean your grill for 6 months and then you go to put some burgers on it. You're like, wait a minute. You got to get out that little metal rake and run it across the grates. So I sat there and I scrubbed it for like 45 minutes.
Wow. So you went.
I went to town.
Okay.
Yeah, I scrubbed it. I had to bring it out and like spray it off with the garden hose. It was such a mess.
Have you thought to yourself on the Comanche to do just one thing that is like noticeable to other people? No. You know what I mean? Because like you said, you've done all these necessary improvements.
Yeah.
The rust, a lot of rust, right? But to the outside perspective,
2 years of rust.
To the outside perspective, it is still a red and silver
and black,
gray.
Yeah.
Comanche.
Yeah.
Have you thought to yourself, just to get a public win,
maybe I'll spruce it up a bit.
Maybe I'll replace that door handle that a nice coworker gave me for the solstice last season.
No. Of course not. That door handle is out in the warehouse, though. It's hanging up.
You know what I mean?
Right next to the speaker wiring.
Man, 2 years in a row of delightful gifts from a thoughtful coworker.
They just nailed it.
Around solstice time.
They absolutely nailed it.
Okay.
So we could be hours away at this point. Now, this is assuming that when I do get the battery charged up and I start it up, that everything just works. That everything, all of the work that I have done, actually works out. I already know of one thing that has to be worked on again because there's a leak in something that I just installed. So that's going to have to come back out.
I mean, I hate to be like the naysayer here.
No, you don't.
But when you say like it could be just a few hours, it also could be another 90 days. Right?
If it takes 90 days to charge a battery, that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm confident that the Jeep is going to start right up because motor-wise, I didn't do anything to that. It was everything from the motor back that is the concern.
I'm thinking out loud here.
Okay.
That you're a guy, you're days away from vacation, and again, you're welcome for that.
Yeah.
You're taking off tomorrow morning, right? No, Friday.
Friday.
Taking off Friday, and again, no thanks needed. You're welcome. And you're coming back. You've still got the Comanche going on. You've got those trees growing in front of the door. You've got You've got the sunroom 80% down. It's
down now. Yes,
but you've got the floor from it that I know it's bugging you.
It is. It's eating me up inside
because it's about 1 inch off from your decking, the deck floor next to it.
In various spots it is.
Right.
In some spots it's 2 inches, and in other spots it's actually lower.
You know what they say about erosion, right? It always attacks the sunrooms first.
Does it?
I mean, I'll post on the poll. It's the only way we know.
Does erosion
always attack the sunrooms first?
Yeah.
I just feel like you're done with the lion's share of the effort on this. And by no fault of your own, does the final key turn get delayed just long enough that, then it's August. And then that's like, hey, what's going on with the sunroom floor? It's eroding. We told you it comes for the sunrooms first, and you didn't listen.
The erosion gets it. Yeah.
I'm just saying, you saying could be hours away. I think we're just as likely as could be weeks away.
Man, I put the key in, and I had hooked my little battery charger up to it, thinking, okay, maybe if I hook it up for like 10 minutes, I'll get enough juice in this thing. And I turned the key, and it was like, and it did that about 3 times, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. It's going to start. And then the battery immediately crapped out. So I thought, oh, man, I was so close to starting this thing up. But in reality, I'll probably have to pull the battery out, take it to the auto parts store and say, can you test this? Have them plug it in for an hour, because they have like super fast chargers that'll charge it right up.
Now, I would never, because I'm a friend, and I've been with you on this ride for stunningly years now.
Have you?
On the Comanche.
Mm-hmm.
But would you be surprised, or would you be able to dispute the fact that if you laid out the bare bones facts of the Comanche project that you undertook, if they called it a cesspool of time and money,
they
again, not me, I'm an ally.
People are saying
I'm here for you. I am
right.
England in the United States in World War II. I am an ally. We're storming the beaches of Normandy together on this cause.
Okay. All right. I was going to say just anonymous sources have reported.
No. But if Russia comes along and says, boy, that's a real cesspool of time and money.
That's offensive.
Would you have the ability to dispute that, or would you want to dispute that?
Of course I would want to. That is where my answer ends.
Okay. I can't believe we've already delayed this long enough, because I sat down and I told you, listen, I have anxiety now. And I've realized that I talked about it. So when I see a literal laundry list, which we never have on this document that you and I share, of just things that went on.
Look at that.
And last week, we didn't even have that, and I started talking about your scantily clad neighbor. You caught them out this week, by the way? In the
I did.
hot heat?
I did see him. Yep.
So you've got, no doubt, thong and a piece of duct tape across the top, and that's the dude.
Yeah.
And then you've got, a pair of, like a bikini top and bottom for the wife, probably, right?
Accurate.
In the 100-degree heat.
Yep.
Yeah. Just take a day off. Just take a day off. Yeah, okay. That wasn't even on the list. And that somehow sidetracked this podcast long enough. So what I've done this week, Steve, I've done it. I've gotten us a big wheel.
Oh, like a prize wheel like we talked about last week?
And now I've got on it.
How many things?
How many? Do you want me to list the items about that we need to talk about?
Give me a number. Because I kind of like the idea of it just because I don't know what's on the wheel. Yeah. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure type thing.
We are at 9 items that we need to get to.
Okay.
On the wheel of good things. Okay, because that's what it's going to be called.
That's what it's called. The wheel of good things.
Wheel of good things, or the wheel of good content is what I was spitballing to myself earlier today.
I like wheel of good things.
Wheel of good things. There's a lot to get to.
Okay.
Do you want me to spin it?
Do I have to do anything?
No, Steve. I've got the big wheel of good things here. You're now the England, and I'm the United States.
I'm England.
On the beaches of Normandy. Right? Okay. Here we go. The wheel of good things. Let's see what we get.
Wow. That was something.
It's a small ticker on the wheel of good things.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. That came out of nowhere.
One that I cannot believe we didn't talk about last week.
Why didn't we just use... Because I have a wheel over here, too.
Why do we have 2 big wheels of good things? Oh, my God.
That one's nice, right?
You do go to the gym before spinning that thing? We only got 9 items.
Whoa.
Oh, okay. Well, that was like Mario Brothers. But...
Sure. Okay, so the wheel of good things, depending on how we're feeling, it can be your wheel. It can be my wheel. From now on... You know something? Maybe I'll have my own wheel. I'll put my own wheel of good things together.
Do you think at the side gig? Because, again, things have changed. We talked a couple of weeks ago about how when I was an intern at the radio station that I would be at some events with a wheel. And that was decidedly a wheel of things. And we talked about that. You're looking at a lanyard, a letter opener.
Some of them weren't great. I'll give you that.
Best case was a koozie or a concert ticket to like a Wednesday night show at the venue with 16 seats. Okay, those were the options on the wheel of things at the radio
station. That means limited seating. Those are tough to get.
That's right. Hard to come by.
Okay, the wheel of good things landed on...
Steve, you went skydiving last week.
I did.
We wrapped up...
I did.
We closed shop last week. Mm-hmm. Again, on a weird record night. It was a Wednesday.
Yeah. We're like halfway through this weird record month at this point.
And we hung the headphones on their hooks, patted each other on the backs about another good day in the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you told me you're going skydiving tomorrow, and that didn't even come up.
Yeah.
So we had a quick off-air conversation. If I go, splat on either a lake or the ground, come by and get the podcast equipment. But I have things scheduled.
Mixer, microphones, they're all yours. Brief discussion about whether the scheduled content would still go out or not, or whether you would, interrupt it to maybe post the memorial show that you have no doubt put together.
Yes, I would. I promise this to you. If you, in fact, do kick the bucket in the next 1 year and 364 days, which as we talked about.
Down to like 350 something at this point.
That I would absolutely have a show at the ready for you. A stunning homage of all of the best bits.
Yeah.
And the good times we shared. And then
this
I'd walk out there.
Podcast is kind of like a major news outlet where I have your obituary written already, and I have your memorial show ready to go. I just need you just tell Katie to let me know once that flat line hits, and our listeners are going to be the first to know about your death.
So when you
before your family,
good. Yes,
before friends, before acquaintances, coworkers.
That's right.
And luckily, there aren't a lot of acquaintances.
Yeah,
it'll be pretty easy.
It's going to be an intimate affair, is what we'll call it. When people are being notified of my demise. So Oinky is, wrapping up his last in my heart, right. And you're preparing to click go or post on the memorial episode. And that also, this is just between you and I, that's a bit I've had on our list for 2 years now to do that. I still want to get to where we would write an obituary for each other.
But we digress.
You lived.
Back to the wheel of good things. Yes, I lived.
You lived, and I have, before we recap you skydiving, I have a prediction. A small prediction, but a prediction nonetheless. And I predict after your skydiving experience last week with some other of the monkeys, I believe, from the radio station, that you're going to become a skydiving guy.
Really?
I think you probably came home. Now, I don't think you came home with, like Johnny Existential, where you were like, oh my God, the beauty, the sight, the splendor of the clouds.
I could see the curve of the earth. And when I saw that, I thought, what does life mean?
And there's nothing I'm more sure of in life, that nobody wants to be friends with Johnny Existential. So please don't become that person.
No, I'm not Johnny Existential. Don't worry.
But I think you may have come home. You may have reflected on it, and you may have told Annette, I really enjoyed that. And I think we should do that together.
Oh.
And I don't know if Annette would be into something like that, but I think you came home and you're thinking, I want to go skydiving again.
That did not happen.
No. Okay.
No. Don't get me wrong. I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic. It was one of those things that was always I don't know if I'd call it a bucket list thing, but it was always like, I think I could do that. I'd like to give that a shot.
Yeah.
It was nice having this little nudge through the radio station because it was a client and they offered to, hey, come on out, do this. So I was like, all right, well, I mean, that takes all of the hard work out of it. They just told me when to be there. I showed up and I thought it was great. It was not at all how I expected it would be.
Okay.
But it was amazing. And when I landed, my feet back on the ground, I was like, okay, I did that. Now, there are plenty of people who, as soon as they land, they were like, where's the plane? I want to go back up and do it again.
Really?
Yeah. I would do it again, but I'm not going to be nagging my wife like, hey, think what do we got going on this weekend? Think I could skip out and go diving?
Because this never occurred to me that it would be something that you would be interested in.
Really?
And so when you told me you were doing it, it felt like it was a bit of a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying I never would. Nowhere in my mind did I think that you would have said, oh, no, not in a million years. I need to keep my feet on the ground. I wouldn't do it. But is this something that without the opportunity from the side gig, do you think it's something you ever would have done?
I've described it like this. I've always wanted to skydive. but I've been a little bit, I've been nervous about it, so I haven't signed up for it. This was the push that I needed. This is exactly what I needed.
So
I don't know if I would have ever done it.
So I guess rate it for me, because now, was Annette jealous? Annette has
No.
She was not. She was not thinking, I can't believe Steve gets to go. I've always dreamed of doing this.
No.
Something like that.
No. She was not jealous. She was very nervous for me. She brought our kids out to watch. So if it had gone poorly, it would have been easy to notify her.
Well, it's okay. You just pawn them off on the therapist going forward, because they're never getting over that.
Right.
Never in a million years.
Nope.
Do you simply move on from, well, we watched Dad go splat, and I guess we just grew up with a warehouse and a Comanche now.
Yeah. I'm not leaving that to them.
And I'll post
no chance. No chance.
Who does the Comanche get left to?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I'm also posting that in the poll. Do you ever recover from watching Dad go splat? Because I just don't think there's any way you come back from that.
No.
So was this something that, were you at any point overcome with, emotion or fear, like physical reaction? Did you hesitate getting in the plane? Did you hesitate getting out of the plane?
Oh, no. No, they don't let you hesitate getting out of the plane.
So once they say, like, you're up and in whatever line you're going, it's like you're in line at the cafeteria?
Pretty much, yeah. So we get onto the plane, and I was one of the first people on the plane. So I was the last one out of the plane. And there's no lonelier a feeling than I felt after watching my friends disappear out the side of a plane. Because I always expected that the way it would go is that you watch somebody jump out the plane, and then you can kind of like peer out the window and be like, there they go, and, watch them fall. Mm-hmm. But as soon as you step out of the plane, you're gone.
Like sucked backward.
Because it doesn't seem like it, but that plane's going like 100 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So imagine jumping out of a car at 100 miles per hour.
Yeah.
You're not just going to float along next to it and, softly land. You're going to be gone. So we got in the plane, and I was strapped to my tandem instructor. Mm-hmm. So he's strapped to my back. I'm strapped to his front, however you want to look at it. So we get in there, we slide all the way back on the bench. He buckles me to him and, tests the harnesses like 50 times just to make sure everything's good. And we get to 6,000 feet. They're like, oh, we're going to open the door just to get a little air in here because it was getting a little warm.
What 6,000 do to you mentally? Because it's probably a distance that in your head you've tried to calculate.
Yeah.
And you thought, well, it's not that far. But so what does 6,000 feel like when you're in an airplane and that 6,000 is up and down?
6,000 in that airplane, I thought we were at, because we went up to 17,000 feet. We jumped from 17,000 feet. So we got to 6,000 and they slid the door open, and I thought, all right, we're here. I'm looking out the window. I was like, man, we're up pretty high. And then they're like, oh, we're at 6,000 feet. We're just opening the door to circulate some air because it's getting kind of warm in here. We're only a third of the way to the height that we're going to. And I was like, oh, boy. So it was at that point I started getting a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
But anxious and kind of goofy, jittery. So, like, you're talking to the person next to you, and you're like, we're going to do this. Blah, blah, blah. Like, just that nervous chitter chatter.
I wish you would have been able to text me right there, because I would have been able to calm you. I
Sure.
feel like I would have been a voice of reason, because the idea that I would have tried to implant in your brain is that dying from 6,000 feet is really no different than dying from 17,000. It's just an additional few seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
so I guess enjoy your extra life that they're giving you on the way to your ultimate demise.
That would have helped. It really would have helped with my nerves. So then eventually about 10 minutes later, we get up to 17,000 feet, and the door opens, and there were three guys all the way in the back of the plane. So I was in like the front of the plane, right in back of the pilot. And that door opened, and those three dudes, one by one, just gone. Absolutely gone. And then...
Man, that's crazy to think about. That all makes sense, that you're going fast enough that that's the way that it appears they almost get sucked into the propeller or whatever.
I'll be honest. I can't tell you how much of my brain was occupied by the fact that I was going to jump out the door and hit the tail fin of the plane.
Right.
I still don't understand how that didn't happen.
Okay.
Because it's right there. I don't know. So all of the all the solo jumpers went out, and then it was time for all of us tandem jumpers. And I watched my friends disappear out the side of a plane, and then it was my turn. And the way that I always pictured this in my head is that you get up and you walk over to the door and you kind of put your hands on the handles just on the inside of the door. Or maybe you do the thing where you back out the door and you kind of hold on to the side of the plane like Tom Cruise in a Mission Impossible movie, and then you do a backflip out the door. I got to the door and I could tell that my instructor was yelling something to me, but I have no clue what it was. And then we were outside of the plane.
Was there a point they either come over the radio or whatever and say, this is your very last chance
No.
to say no?
Nope.
So once you're in and on your way up,
Yeah.
the only way you're coming back down is with a parachute in your feet.
Yeah, is by gravity on your own. I don't think that they have a big dropout rate. Well, maybe not drop out to.
I think they have a big drop dead rate, or
No drop dead rate. Very good.
Did
Organization.
Anybody ask?
No.
Anybody died on your watch?
I did feel a little bit better though. I asked my instructor because we were going from 17,000 feet. I said to him, "Hey, what's the lowest you've ever jumped from?" And he said, "When I was in the military, I jumped from 800 feet, and it was one of those ones where." You're hooked to a line, and as soon as you get out the back of the plane, the line automatically pulls your chute for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he said he jumped from 800 feet.
I mean, at that point, you're more worried about your knees shattering into your body.
Right. You're going to be on the ground in 4 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we did a free fall for over a minute. It was a minute and 15 or a minute and 20 seconds.
I mean, it feels like it's just showing off, right?
It was a long time.
Did you... And again, I want your thoughts on the experience as a whole, but did you get to the point where you thought, all right, enough's enough. Let's pull the chute, let's float down, or when am I going to be? Because we need to post this photo.
Yeah.
The photo that you sent me that I don't know if it's out in public for public consumption at this point, of your smush face.
Yeah.
And it's because it's delightful. It needs to be. We haven't updated our social media banner since our Van Wert, Ohio trip. That may need to be our new social media banner because it's so delightful.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. For a myriad of reasons, we need to update that picture.
But was it a joy the whole way through?
It was. The free fall, it didn't feel as stupid as it sounds. It doesn't feel like you're falling. It feels like you're standing in a wind tunnel and just getting blasted with cold air, but you don't feel the drop. The only part of it that I was not a fan of at all is once the parachute deployed at about 5,000 feet, between 5,000 and 6,000 feet, you have these handles that you can hold on to. So the instructor said, put your hands in these handles and pull down on your right hand a little bit. So I pulled down on my right hand and it turns to the right.
Yeah.
He said, now pull down on the left, turns to the left. And I was like, that's really cool. I always wanted to know how that happened.
So you're thinking donuts.
Well, he said, you want to do, I forget what he called it, but it was basically a sharp turn. He's like, you want to do a sharp turn? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And before I even said, yeah, let's do it, he had pulled down on the right so hard that I swear to God, I saw the parachute underneath us. We corkscrewed so fast down to the ground.
No, you're a roller coasterman. You're a coasterman through and through.
Yeah.
But even, you're telling me
that turned my stomach. And we were still about a minute and a half from landing. And I'm strapped to this man. I'm just dangling in front of him. And I started profusely sweating. And I thought, this is it. I'm going to throw up.
So you've got your left hand. And what are you doing with it?
but I can't rip my shirt off.
Exactly.
Because I'm strapped to another man.
Oh, no.
So I just did couple deep breaths.
Dude,
that was good.
Oh, man. Do you think he's ever been vomited on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I know that it must be a common thing because in the waivers that you're signing, there's a $25 vomit charge. If you vomit on someone.
Are you serious?
If it gets on their equipment, Or if you get it on your instructor, yeah, it's $25, which isn't bad at all. I mean, the vomit charge for an Uber is like $500.
Sure. That's, I wouldn't have anticipated, hey, sorry about, what happened up there. Do you want that additional charge on your card, or would you like to pay that in cash? As he's wiping lunch from his shield or whatever he has on. So you're doing your best to not vomit at that point.
Yeah, because in my head, I'm like, I don't want to pay that $25. I don't got that kind of money.
That's obviously the biggest takeaway. Right. Is the idea that there could possibly be a minimal new charge, not the fact that. Oh man.
So yeah. So that was that.
You enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. What about you? Would you do it?
There's not a chance in hell, no. Steve, with your... Is there anything else like that, though? I forgot to ask you, as we're about to get back to the Wheel of Good Things, by the way.
Oh, good.
I've updated it.
The Wogget, as we call it.
We've got the Wheel of Good Things. Is there anything else like that you think is still a scratch to be itched for you? Whether it's... Because it's not like you've sought out these stunts or these things to do that for you as an experience, but you've been to interesting places, you've done unique things, you've now done skydiving. Is there anything in that realm or that you think maybe could the side gig provide it? Maybe down the road it's something you would do, but it's nothing that you're itching for that you would pay for.
I don't know. Like I'm not some huge adrenaline junkie,
sure,
or anything like that.
You're not gonna go swim the English Channel.
No.
Like those people do.
No, those are dumb people.
Not going to inner tube to the coast of Cuba. Something like that, like they do from Florida to show this is the plight of refugees.
Or from the, of course, the northern coast of Jamaica.
Obviously. Well, if you're going there, you're going there for vacation.
Exactly.
We know you're...
Yeah, I can't think of anything. But okay. I'm sure that there's something. You could probably pick something out that I would want to do.
I mean, I think I could... What I would like to see you do is I would like to see you in one of those hillbilly local derbies that they do at fairs.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
And I've done demo derbies before.
You have?
I have. I've done local fair demo derby.
And that's smash 'em up demo derby you're talking about, right?
Smash 'em up demo derby.
What about like race demo derby where the cars, everything's like limited to what they have, but it's still like the goal is to race around the track,
I guess
right?
technically it was... Wait a minute. I know that I've done one race one.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember if the first one was a race one or just drive into each other.
Got it. But which one would you prefer?
I still want to do the race. I need there to be some stakes in it.
And as you said in the first half, you're either hours or weeks away from maybe that happening.
Oh, no. Look, the last thing that I would do with the Manchi after getting all that work done is take it to the demo derby. That would be... My God, can you imagine that? I'm finally taking it out on its maiden voyage, and I just get T-boned.
So that means we would then need a fifth vehicle at the Steve house with a total of 0 that could then haul pallet 3.0 when the time comes. Okay, we got to get back to the Wheel of Good Things.
Okay.
Whew,
man, listen to that. Okay, there it is. All right, I was ready for it that time.
Oh, boy, are we... This is something we talked about a few times off air. It has not come up on the podcast, but I believe, independently of you and I, it has come up at least twice in our own lives.
Mm-hmm.
So, Steve, I want to ask you today what you think about possibly getting the band back together and strolling back out to the local rec softball fields.
Oh, boy.
For team, possibly, Steve and Kyle.
Team Steve and Kyle podcast.
Come 2026.
Okay, so you're not talking this year. You're talking
I think we'd be too late for everything this year.
Probably. Although when the fall league probably starts in like... Didn't the fall league start in like August or something and go till October?
Oh, boy, maybe.
August, September, October?
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
But at this point, I'm comfortable saying, with the planning stage being, thus far, me saying those words to you 30 seconds ago, probably fall league
Yeah.
not going to be able to put together.
Because we would have to get at least 8 other people. Do you need 10?
I think it's 10 in the field.
Yeah.
So yeah, you need a bare minimum of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously you can play with whoever shows,
Yeah.
which may not matter once you're getting back on the horse. It's probably going to be a lot of losses getting strung together anyway. What do you think about adding just another iron to the fire and showing your kids? Because we have not played since you've been a father. Last time we played was I tore my Achilles in 2017, and the Kyle retirement tour was 2018.
And you barely played.
I played 3 pitches in 2017.
As a father, did you play at all?
Reed was born in October of 18. So no, I didn't. We were done.
Right.
We had wrapped up before Reed. So this would be.
I remember you missed a game, and because you. Oh no! It was like the night that we had a game. It was the night that I locked my keys in the Jeep.
Then it's right. Maybe that was the last game. So I probably did participate in at least one.
Yeah.
When I was a father, that's a good point.
Yeah.
But now we're to the age, where maybe the kids, is it a little bit of a, hey, we can show them.
Little motivator.
We can show them like, hey, just maybe I can give Reed one item to say my dad does something good.
Yeah. Evelyn will say, Dad has got wheels. He can haul.
And then because you'll get off the field like, does Dad normally get those ground balls? And you
wow, Dada. Another single.
Dada, usually your shoes stay on the ground, not over your head.
What happened to that 10 home runs you guaranteed?
Dada, it's only the second inning. Why do you have ice on your shoulder? Dada, do you always wear your work boots on the field? Haven't seen Dada sweat like this before.
All hypothetical.
All very hypothetical.
Mm-hmm.
So, because this came up off air between you and I a couple of months ago, my brother ended up somehow mentioning it to me as well. It's kind of been in the back of my mind.
That's surprising.
Like, would it be... Listen, we went out on a high. I don't know. Did we win the championship that year in 2018 when we left?
I remember we won a championship.
There's at least a trophy of us, of our team somewhere. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was the year I ruptured my Achilles and you guys won in my honor, or if it was the retirement tour 2018, which, again, that's how I remember our softball years. The year Robert broke my nose, 2012, the retirement tour 2016, or the Achilles 2017, and then the retirement tour 2018.
Did Robert play on our team?
Yes. Yeah, Robert was there every year.
I don't remember him at all.
He was the big guy standing at first base.
Oh, that's right.
Hard to overthrow him, but it happened. So I wanted to put the feeler out to you, Steve, because as
do it,
we'd have to see I think we'd have to discuss about the old slogan, 222. I don't know if that would be in your future.
Why?
We're getting up there in age again. You got 340 to 50 days left.
So you're saying that I cannot play second base?
No, I didn't say can't do anything. I'm not doing it. I have nothing to do with it.
I can't bat second.
Just saying we have to be open.
And I can't wear number 2?
I'm just saying there's nothing wrong with like 8th or 9th in the batting order.
Of those 3 things, you got to give me at least 2 of them. So
I got to go at least 2/3.
So I'm assuming that the one, okay, I get to wear number 2.
Okay, we're halfway home. And you get to wear the number 2 jersey. So you need either second base or batting second. Oh, boy. Boy, that is tough sledding with the...
Do we want...
well, as of now, Steve, I can guarantee you one of the top 2 batting order because there's only 2 people on the team. It's you and I.
That's a good point.
So as of now, you got it. Yeah, you can be number 2. I'll lead off.
Okay.
I can't wait for you to hit me from first to second every time, and then we just stand there and stare at each other.
What do we do? Oh, Ghost Runner? All right.
What would it take, and is that something that would interest you, adding another item to your weekly agenda? Granted, not year-round, not long-term, but, it's 10 games, 12 games, however it comes out.
Yeah, I figured 2-3 months.
Hour a week.
I would do
plus
it.
mandatory practices. Figure that's twice a week, one early, one late, to really mess up your biological clock.
Right.
So we're thinking 6:30 on Saturdays, and then I'm thinking
AM?
Yes, and then probably 8 o'clock on Mondays.
I wouldn't I wouldn't mind a 6:30 a.m. practice.
Be there with a cup of coffee in hand.
Times have changed for me. I'd be like, okay, yeah, get it out of the way. Start the day early. I would do it. If you're serious, I'll start recruiting. I don't know who I'd call. I don't have anyone's information.
Why not? I know where I'm going first.
Oh, I mean, the town drunk, right?
No question. I'm going to the town drunk.
Okay, I can guarantee Rusty's in.
And then I'm going to the group chat we had 7 years ago. And I'm just going to send a blanket one there and say, are you in for 2026? Because I think we got Rusty.
Yeah.
I think we could get my brother, the zebra, the wounded gazelle, Robert.
Yeah.
The problem's going to be trying to recruit people at our age who want to play the outfield or anywhere where it could be dangerous.
I'll take the outfield.
Seems like we solved the 2-2-2 problem now.
I'm going to take right field.
Uh-huh.
Because the majority of hitters are right-handed.
We're going to go right
pulling it to
yeah.
left field. So I can probably, out of 10 games, I bet there's 3 games where I don't even touch the ball in the field.
No doubt about it. You're going to see a lefty, though, and you thought the sweat on that airplane was bad? You wait until you see, a guy with a personalized jersey. It's like Fill the Tank, right? And it's all on the back. It's got a cartoon picture of him hanging out the top of a tank with like a big gun.
Oh, see, I was thinking it was going to be like somebody putting gas in a tank, like Fill, F-I-L-L, the tank.
Like the gas
but,
tank.
I mean, look, there's so many different ways that you can go with that.
You're going to see Fill the Tank step up with his softball gear on.
It's probably going to be a guy putting gas in a tank.
Yeah, no, that makes more sense because we're implying he's a big fella.
Right, and his name is Phil, F-I-L-L.
And he's going to be a lefty. And I can't wait because I'm going to try to get video of you as you panic out there and frantically wave over the center fielder for help.
Rusty! I got to pee.
I didn't expect
to take my spot.
I didn't expect to get an in so soon.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because
I'm in. I am in.
I think when we left softball, we left on positive, like everything we won. We were doing a fair share of winning.
Yeah.
I just decided I didn't want to play anymore. I wasn't telling everybody else they had to stop. But with that, it seemed that the team, as we knew it, passed away.
Yeah, the team did fall apart.
So now you're sitting here telling me that you've already given up on 2/3 of 2-2-2 because you're willing to play right field.
Well, if that's what it takes, I mean, that would not be my first choice. My first choice, obviously, 2-2-2.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go 1-1-1 if you want. I'll play first. I'll shift over to first base.
We can't do that. I don't know where we'd put Robert. Okay. I'm willing to
catcher. Robert's the catcher.
I'm willing to go anywhere but pitcher.
Too many bad memories.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm glad to catch. Glad to DH.
DH.
I'll ride that bench. And 7 years ago, Steve, if you had told me that, like, hey, no spot in the field for you, I'd have walked off. I'd have snapped a clipboard over my knee. I'd have thrown it in the air. I'd have called everybody on that team every name under the sun.
Right.
But now I'd go around giving hugs if you told me I only had to DH.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, you're a changed man.
Because if there's one thing I can guarantee you from me, it's going to be on average 3 bloop singles over that shortstop side. Oh, he's going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Every time he's going to get progressively more mad because it's going to go not like 8 feet over his head, but anywhere between 1 and 3 feet over his ability to catch it.
And every time you make contact, it's going to be one of those hits where you can tell that you weren't gripping the bat tight enough. So it just kind of resonated down the bat and vibrated your hands.
Yes.
And as you're running to first, you're
shaking it off.
Shaking that like, not again.
And I'd be lying if I didn't. Half of the reason I want to get some new gear. Right? Go get some new batting gloves.
I put on my glove. I found it like out in the garage.
Yeah.
Within the last week. That thing still isn't broken in. Like I've used it for 2 seasons?
So you get any hot shots at second and it's just going to hit a brick wall that is your hand.
Yeah.
Because your glove can't close.
The best I can do is try and deflect it to first. Like volley it. Volley it up in the air and somebody else will catch it.
So stay tuned. 2026.
Boy.
The local bananas, as we've got Steve trying to elephant trunk a ball in the air to 6'6" Robert at first base, who's somehow still jumping to catch this thing. While Rusty's doing spinneroonies in the outfield for some reason. And we have nobody on the left side of the field.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I'm looking forward to it. If we can get a team together, I'm in.
Oh, it's
I'm all in.
It's happening. I can't wait. Dates and times next year for everybody because we got to have a crowd.
Exactly. We have to have people coming out to watch us, to cheer us on. That's Team Steve and Kyle podcast.
Yeah. Team SKP for the flashback this week. If for anybody who listens to that, I was just thinking about bringing it up, but instead listen to the first time because we only almost got in a fight one time at softball, and shockingly, I wasn't the one who did it, but our very own Steve was.
I didn't start that.
No, you did not. I shouldn't have said start.
I mean, I guess technically in his mind, I started it.
It only involved you, not me. And I would have guessed, if I had posted on the poll without anybody knowing, it would be 95-5 people saying Kyle started it, not just a part of it.
Yeah, we should put it on the poll anyway.
Who started the softball fight, Steve or Kyle? That'll be the flashback this week.
Oh, can't wait. All right, at Steve and Kyle, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We'll talk to you next week.
See ya.